Ants have an intricate and highly specialized way of sensing danger that's honed by millions of years of evolution. Like other eusocial insects, ants rely heavily on their highly developed sensory systems and complex communication methods to detect and respond to potential threats, ensuring the survival of the colony rather than just the individual ant. Their sense of danger is an interplay of several sensory modalities, including chemical, tactile, and even auditory cues, each of which plays a unique role in helping ants stay alert to potential risks, which are laden with receptors for detecting various chemical signals, called pheromones. Pheromones are critical in ant communication. They play an essential role in almost all aspects of an ant's life, from locating food to identifying mates and sounding alarms. Ants can release specific pheromones when they perceive a threat, which act as alarm signals to alert other members of the colony. It can release these alarm pheromones from specialized glands. The scent spreads rapidly through the air, and other ants in the vicinity detect it, usually responding with behaviors that are defensive or aggressive depending on the situation. Even if only one or two ants detect the threat initially. The alarm pheromones serve as a rallying call, often prompting other ants to rush to the location where the pheromone was released, ready to defend their colony. Apart from chemical communication, ants rely on tactile signals to sense danger. Ants use their antennae not just for detecting chemicals but also to physically probe their environment. When they come into contact with unfamiliar or aggressive ants from another colony, for instance, they often engage in antennation, a behavior where they tap each other with their antennae. This exchange of physical signals can help ants identify whether the individual they've encountered is a threat, and if so, they may respond aggressively. By constantly brushing against one another with their antennae, ants maintain a sense of cohesion and are quickly alerted if an intruder disrupts their organized structure. Another remarkable way that ants sense danger involves their ability to detect vibrations. Ants have specialized subgenual organs in their legs that allow them to feel vibrations through the ground. This sensory adaptation is incredibly useful in detecting the movement of large predators, or even subtle environmental changes that may signal a nearby threat. For instance, if an ant colony resides underground, vibrations on the surface could signal the approach of a digging predator. The ants can detect the vibrations and respond by either retreating deeper into the nest or, in some cases, mounting a defense. Ground vibrations can also help ants detect the movement of other ants within their nest, allowing them to maintain awareness of each other's presence and ensuring the colony remains vigilant to disturbances. Vision, while not the primary sense in all ant species, also plays a role in danger detection for those ants that are more reliant on sight. Some ants, like the desert-dwelling Cataglyphis species, have highly developed eyes that allow them to navigate their arid environments. These ants use their vision to detect potential threats from a distance. The keen eyesight allows them to react quickly, either by retreating or taking a defensive stance. However, not all ants are equally reliant on sight. Many subterranean or nocturnal species have reduced vision or are even completely blind. For these species, chemical, tactile, and vibrational cues are much more important for sensing danger. Even without keen eyesight, the sensory adaptations these ants possess enable them to remain aware of potential risks. Auditory signals, while not as commonly studied in ants as in other insects, may also play a subtle role in danger detection. Some ants produce sounds through stridulation, a process of rubbing specific body parts together to create noise. This is often used as an alarm signal within the nest. When an ant is threatened or trapped, it may stridulate to alert nearby nestmates. Although sound is not the primary mode of communication for ants, certain species do employ it as a supplementary alarm method, which adds yet another layer to their complex sensory toolkit. The collective nature of ant societies further enhances their ability to respond to danger efficiently. Ants are highly social creatures, living in colonies that can range from a few dozen individuals to millions, and they rely on each other to maintain constant vigilance. When a danger signal is detected by one ant, the response is almost always communal. This is a phenomenon known as swarm intelligence, where the collective behavior of the group leads to efficient solutions. If a scout ant, for instance, detects a large, potentially dangerous animal approaching the nest, it may release a specific alarm pheromone that mobilizes a portion of the colony to prepare for defense. In some species, soldiers or larger worker ants may take on the primary role of defending the nest, while smaller worker ants retreat or guard the queen and young. Furthermore, ants have developed what could be seen as a learned or adaptive behavior in response to repeated threats. For example, if a colony frequently encounters a certain predator, ants may begin to recognize the particular scent, vibrations, or other cues associated with that predator, allowing them to respond even more rapidly in future encounters. But it demonstrates how the collective memory of the colony can be shaped by recurring environmental pressures. In some cases, this may lead to changes in colony behavior or nesting practices. If a colony continually faces threats in one location, they may decide to relocate to a safer area. Some species have evolved the ability to detect whether an intruder is attempting to mimic their own chemical signals, a tactic used by certain predatory insects or parasitic ants to infiltrate the colony, allowing them to bypass the usual defenses. However, in many cases, ants can detect slight differences in these chemical cues, exposing the infiltrator and prompting a defensive reaction. This demonstrates how finely tuned ants' chemical detection abilities are and how they can be used to sense not only obvious threats but also more subtle, disguised dangers. But also highlights the importance of communication and cooperation within a colony. But the power of their sensory perception multiplies when combined with the alarm and response behaviors of thousands or even millions of colony members. Through chemical signals, tactile interactions, vibrational sensitivity, and responding to a wide variety of threats. The way ants sense and respond to danger reflects the sophistication of their sensory and communication systems, which are far more intricate than might be expected of such small creatures. Their ability to detect danger through chemical signals, physical contact, ground vibrations, and, in some cases, sight and sound demonstrates the richness of their evolutionary adaptations, enabling ants to mount effective responses to threats that could potentially devastate their numbers if left unchecked. By leveraging both individual sensory capacities and collective behaviors, ants have evolved a robust strategy for survival that has allowed them to thrive in virtually every terrestrial environment on Earth. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.